Ladies and gentlemen, it's game day. And the Houston Rockets and my guy Jalen Green from my hometown of Fresno, California, is in town to face the Beam team. And the Kings are now sitting with a record at 20-20, back at 500. And this is a portion of the season that I'm calling the beginning of the NBA season for the Sacramento Kings. They had a really weird start. And now it seems like they're back on track with Doug Christie. Now the question is, what's going to happen next? And that's what we're going to talk about on this quick episode of the Bleav in Kings podcast. I'm your host, Mark Haynes. Let's get going. First off, like I said, the Houston Rockets are in town. They're 27-12. Bleav they're the third seed in the Western Conference. No, they're the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. Memphis Grizzlies are right behind them at 3. And did I? Yeah, I gave them 27-12. Yeah, I didn't know that. The Grizzlies are 26-15. They played more games. Anyways, the number 2 team in the Western Conference is in town to face the Sacramento Kings. And the Sacramento Kings, who were without Malik Monk last game, it looks like he'll be back. He's listed as probable. And Devin Carter, who I remember in the game, I think it was a fall. He took a little fall in his left shoulder, the surgically repaired shoulder, started bothering him. So he's listed as questionable for tonight's game. Jabari Smith for the Houston Rockets, Fran VanVleet are both out. Tari Eason is questionable. So both sides are dealing with injuries. Both sides are playing good basketball right now. It's interesting to say when you think about the Houston Rockets and the year they had last season and, what the product they've been putting out prior to this season, to be 27-12, the number 2 seed, it's crazy. They are one of the teams that I predicted that will be a good team. I didn't think they'll be this good. So let me be clear with that. They are overachieving from the standards that I had them, but I knew this would be a good team if they could stay together and keep these, guys together long term, but I didn't have them sitting at number 2 approaching the halfway mark. Another thing that I didn't predict is the Sacramento Kings having the type of season that they had leading up to this. But with promoting Doug Christie to the interim head coach position and this new, fire that they got lit under them, it got them back on track. And it's, like I said, they're back even 20-20, excuse me. And they're playing good basketball. Outside of against the Bucks, that first quarter was just that can't happen. And that's something that the Kings have done during the season is they always kind of have one really bad quarter. A lot of times it's in the first quarter and they come on strong in the second half, but ends up coming up short. The first quarter is so important for this team. They have to come out and have good quarters. And I think, having Malik Monk back in the lineup tonight, I think that's going to help. I think coming home again and playing in front of the home crowd is going to help. But whether you're at home or on the road, you can't have quarters where teams are scoring 40 points. And the Milwaukee Bucks did just score 40. It was 47. They dang near scored 50. You're not supposed to win that game. Teams were scoring 50 in a half, not too long ago. I know teams score 60 70, easily in a half now, but to almost score 50 in one quarter, you deserve to lose. And that's basically what happened. They fought back, had a great second half, but they still ended up losing. but it was all because of that first quarter. Tonight, getting Malik back, assuming he plays, with a groin injury. If those of you who've dealt with groin injuries, they are no fun. I've dealt with them before as an athlete, but they are no fun, man. And as soon as you think you might be good, and you kind of feel it and tweak it or whatever, it's just a nagging injury or whatever. So, but assuming he goes, I think that gives, the Kings the firepower they need to get off to a good start, because they have to get off to a good start if they want to, win this game, because the Houston Rockets can really, really play basketball. And that's why they're 27-12. They're well coached. Ime Udoka, he's doing an amazing job with this young group. This is going to be a tough win to get. Last time the Houston Rockets were out here, you had the ejections, you had the fines and all that, Ime Udoka and all that. So this should be a fun match. This should be a good one, as long as the Sacramento Kings show up and play Sacramento Kings basketball again, which I think they will. De'Aaron Fox, I expect I expect better from him tonight. Obviously, I ain't even gonna get into that. I expect better from the Sacramento Kings. We ain't gonna go individually and say this person and that person or whatever and blah blah blah, whatever. They at home, they got to show up. If they show up, you get good results. They don't always end up in a win, but you could end up with something that people are okay with. And that's the goal. The goal is to win. But if you're going to lose, because you're going to lose in the NBA, you can't lose and be just humiliated. You can't lose and be a joke. You have to be competitive. And in order to be competitive, you have to play well. Now, let's go back to the part where I said this is the beginning of the season. I'm not saying it's the beginning of the season right now because of, they're back at 500, because the Kings could be back at 500 6 more times this year. So that wouldn't make sense. I say this is the beginning of the season because even though they're 20-20, somehow that's good enough to be the 9th seed in Western Conference. So you are you're a game away. All you need is the Timberwolves to lose their next game and the Kings to win tonight, and the Kings will be in the 8th seed. All you need is the Mavs to lose, and you're sitting there tied with them. If you win 2 games in a row and the Lakers lose 2, you're looking at the 6th seed. So you could jump from the Kings went from being out of the play-in all the way to being in the play-in to sitting in a position where they could easily make the playoffs. Obviously, it's a long season. A lot of things have to happen, but it's possible. The Kings could end up right where most of us thought they would be when they signed DeMar DeRozan. When they got DeMar DeRozan, we assumed the Sacramento Kings, we believed, let me go with my word, I ain't say it today. We believed the Sacramento Kings would be a playoff team. We believe it was really not any question that they would be a playoff team. And right now, today, January 16th, 2025. Happy New Year's to y'all who haven't watched this before. But January 16th, they're sitting right at being in the playoff running. That's where they're supposed to be. But now it's time to get the job done. Now it's time to keep stringing along good games and get in position to be there because that's where you're supposed to be. That's what the Sacramento fans deserve. And tonight, I'm predicting we're going to see that purple light in the sky. I'm predicting the beam will be lit and the Sacramento Kings and Houston Rockets are going to put on a show. And that's all. I just wanted to jump on and talk with y'all because I had some time. It's pregame. I'm about to finish getting ready to go out here and see what happens. Maybe we'll talk again tonight. But something I want you to look forward to is tomorrow. Unless schedules conflict, tomorrow I have a great interview coming up with a former Sacramento Kings player who is currently in the NBA. And we're going to have some fun telling his story and talking about what he's got going. So stay tuned. And if you haven't yet, hit that like button and definitely go over there and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Follow your boy Mark Haynes. This is the Bleav in Kings podcast, and we signing out. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this next interview I got coming up. Y'all seen the Matt Barnes one? Let's see what's happening next. Y'all do not want to miss this. And we out. Peace.